There was a strong military connection in my family, and I believe that that was just a part of the expectation. He served, my mother's brothers all served together, and I think it was also during that time it was something that everybody felt that they could do to serve their country. He was in Belgium, and I believe that he was there for, I think, about a year and a half. Over a period of time. He didn't talk a lot about it. He was injured, and he received the Purple Heart for his injuries, and because of those injuries that were evident, I was able to, I'd see them on his arm, and so I would ask about them sometimes, and so he would tell bits and pieces of them, but he passed away when I was still pretty young. I was 14, and so I didn't hear a lot of the stories. I think I probably didn't ask a lot of the right questions at that point in time, and I wish I had. But we were able to discover a lot of his stories in kind of an unusual way. Both of my brothers also served in the Army, one in Korea and the other one he was in Korea and Vietnam. And because they had an interest in finding out more about my dad and what his service had been, they started to do, my one brother David started to do an internet search just to see what he might be able to find out, because he was looking for old records and everything. And he stumbled across something that was really quite interesting, and what he came across was a film clip of my dad receiving the British Military Cross from Field General Montgomery, and it was I think that took place in Wiesbaden, Germany. And so he was being commended, and then we found all of this other information, and the film clip that he found was from a group of film clips that actually were being gathered by Steven Spielberg for some movie that he's going to be doing in the future. So it was quite an unusual find to come across that, and it was so interesting for us to see something that we just had no idea even existed. But we had his military cross and all of that, but to see that actual live action, something we never expected. And so that led us to do further digging, and then we were able to find out more about why he received this honor, and that was all very interesting. It was quite a long letter about his gallantry and service, is what it was called, and it talked about the battles that he was instrumental in, and that he was in command of a battalion of tanks. So it was really very interesting for us to find that piece of information all these years ago. He died in 1969, so for us to be able to find that information now was a great way to feel very much in touch with something that he had done that was so important. I think there are a lot of quiet stories. I love that you're doing this project, because I think it's a really interesting way to find out the stories. I think that service is an important component of anybody's life who has made that decision to serve their country, and I think there's stories that they're not often invited to tell, and so I think it's wonderful to be able to hear those things, and I think I'm sure that in your project you'll find lots of interesting things that you didn't know.